Lafayette Public Utilities Authority to order, and we do welcome you to the LPUA meeting. We, as your representatives in the LPUA, welcome your involvement and encourage your participation. This meeting is a public hearing. If you wish to address the LPUA on any item on the agenda, please fill out a blue Request to Address the LPUA form, noting the agenda item number. The blue form is available in the foyer, and you should submit it to the council clerk, Ms. Veronica L. Williams, seated to my left, prior to the call of the agenda item. It's important to fill in the blue form completely and to note the specific agenda item number about which you wish to speak. If the card is not legible to the clerk, you will not be given the opportunity to speak. If you have materials you wish to submit to the LPUA, please give those to Ms. Williams along with your blue form. In an effort to allow everyone an opportunity to be heard, the 5-minute rule will be in effect. Speakers shall refrain from debating, personal attacks, and from making confrontational or derogatory comments. I'm requesting that the first row to my left be used by media only. Food and drinks are not allowed in the auditorium, and all phones and electronic devices shall be silenced from this point forward. I'm also requesting that anyone who approaches the LPUA state their name and title for the official record. Meeting procedures are by resolution and not by Robert's Rules of Order. Documents, including agendas, ordinances, resolutions, and minutes related to this and other meetings are posted online at LafayetteLA.gov, or you may refer to the web address at the top of the agenda. Chair announcements. Item number 5 on the agenda for this evening will be deferred, and that's dealing with the installation of fire water line and a hydrant, which is outside of the corporate limits. It has been deferred to May 16th LPUA meeting at the request of the Utilities Department. That's the extent of the chair announcements. Any announcements from the LPUA membership? Thank you. Mr. Dion, do you have anything, sir? Okay, thank you. And apparently our security scanner is working quite well this afternoon. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. On the agenda is the item for the director's report, and I will use my chair's prerogative to put that at the end of today's meeting. Moving on to the agenda, first of all, let's look at the resolutions. A reminder, this is a public hearing. Blue sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the LPUA. The 5-minute rule does apply. And Liz, would you read the resolution, please?
Resolution 8, 2017, LPUA. A resolution of the Lafayette Public Utilities Authority informing the State of Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality that the Lafayette utility system has taken the appropriate action concerning permit requirements contained in LPDES permits numbered LA 00-36382, LA 00-36374, LA 00-36391, and LA 00-42561.
Need a motion, please. Motion by Ms. Hebert, seconded by Mr. Lewis. Mr. Huval, sir, I know that we have been presented with a booklet. Would you explain more or less what's in this booklet? Hang on just a second. Okay, sir.
Please, motion.
Okay, the State of Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality has rules in place that we have to follow whenever they grant a permit for us to operate a sewer facility. Those rules require that we submit to our governing authority each year indication as to what we're doing to remain in compliance with the environmental rules of operating a sewer facility. The good news is that we have done very well despite very difficult circumstances. Obviously, operating a sewer facility in a flat land area can be difficult. We also are able to tell the DEQ that the LPUA and Council has provided the support necessary for us to continue to do what we need to do, and more specifically, supporting our capital program and our operations and maintenance program. So the things that we come to you for to have to get approved to build sewer plants, additional lift stations, repair lines, all of that is part of what this manual represents. And so each year, just to make sure that the governing authority is indeed on board with what needs to be done to meet our environmental requirements, they ask us to come to you to have a vote on this. And we can certainly get into the details of all this if you want to, but like I said, the good news is that we are doing well, but we're doing well because of the support that we're getting from you in approving the budgets we need to be able to make that happen.
Any questions for Mr. Huval? Okay, thank you, sir. Any blue cards? Let's call for the vote, please.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4, District 6,
Yes.
District 7,
Yes.
District 8.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
And as noted earlier, item 5 on the agenda has been deferred until the May 16th LPUA meeting. Looking at introductory ordinances, Liz, would you please read?
Ordinance 3, 2007.
I'm sorry, Liz, let me go back a step. I have to announce, again, a public hearing. Blue sheets available for anyone wishing to address the LPUA. 5-minute rule does apply. And since we have 2 items for introduction, I would consider a motion to adopt in globo. Motion by Mr. Lewis, second by Ms. Cook. Okay, now, Liz, if you would, please.
Ordinance 3, 2017, LPUA. An ordinance of the Lafayette Public Utilities Authority authorizing and directing the mayor-president to execute an electric franchise agreement with the city of Youngsville. Ordinance 4, 2017, LPUA. An ordinance of the Lafayette Public Utilities Authority authorizing and directing the mayor-president to execute a street lighting agreement with the city of Youngsville.
Any discussion on the part of the LPUA? Any blue cards?
Yes, sir. We do have one speaker, Dennis Sullivan, and he did give me one copy of some comments that I'll copy for you guys and get it to you. Dennis Sullivan.
Mr. Sullivan?
Good day, members of the LPUA. I, Dennis G. Sullivan, a Lafayette citizen residing a block away from this building, would like to encourage the members of the LPUA and the City Parish Council to establish a commission of citizens interested in the future direction of their citizen-owned utility, the LUS. For years, I have been involved in numerous groups attempting from the outside to understand.
Mr. Sullivan, the blue cards are for addressing the items that are being introduced tonight. Is that what you're addressing?
6 and 7, 4 and 5. Yeah,
Okay, sir, go ahead.
okay. Attempting from the outside to understand the decisions made by the running of our citizen-owned utility. Among the topics that interest me today in light of the LUS's proposed expansion into Youngsville street lighting are: what do programs like the proposed Youngsville street lighting agreement mean for the future of our utility system? Will ratepayers in the city be justly compensated for this significant expenditure outside of our core service area? Can a justifiable means be established to ensure the citizens of the city of Lafayette retain their ownership rights in the LUS? Will the Youngsville system utilize the latest LED technology? Number 2, what are the specifics of the current sharing of LUS revenues with the parish? Might this sharing be used as a tool to bring our parish constituents into a more equal sharing of the total costs of good government and not just the benefits of good government? Number 3, I believe it is pragmatic and positive. It is a pragmatic and positive approach to avoid legally belaboring the attendance and voting of elected parish representatives in LPUA meetings. Their contention that their constituents are economically liable for the decisions made by this strangely kludged together LPUA governmental body has some merit. On the other hand, might not this LUS entry into the wider parish be used as an opportunity to build the city-parish unity that forever eludes us? The traditional view has always been that partners share both the toil and the treasures. Perhaps it's time for some stepping up on the parish side. And while I'm dreaming, perhaps this partnership could be the first step in resolving the status of our red-headed stepchildren in the unincorporated areas. My apologies to those folks for referring to them that way. And I wouldn't be speaking my opinion if I were to omit, is LUS, this isn't on the agenda item, so I'll cut the last one. But thank you very much for the opportunity to address the council, or the LPUA.
Okay, thank you, sir. I would just make one quick observation. The Lafayette utility system is, as described, it is owned by the city of Lafayette, and no monies can be expended in the parish that is generated by Lafayette Utilities, because by law, the city of Lafayette remains a legal entity, and we cannot mix the funds between the parish budget and the city budget.
Right, isn't there something called in lieu of,
In lieu of taxes is paid by LUS to the city of Lafayette, and those monies cannot be used for parish purposes by law.
this is not the forum, but I'll talk to you maybe at a later time to understand that more fully.
Okay.
Thank you for your help.
And then just a quick comment, because we're anticipating some response regarding the agreements. The agreements are consistent with that in place today with the town of Broussard, and in fact duplicates the existing Slimco contract with the town of Youngsville. And if there is any legitimate concern about the legality of the documents, then a challenge may be appropriate, and one which would best be addressed by the judicial system. Otherwise, the LUS will continue to expand our utility system as intended, pursuing the best practices in the industry. And that's a personal comment. That doesn't come from the LPUA. I know I have, Terry, I have you listed toward the end of the agenda. Would you like to respond to anything that was just mentioned, or would you like to wait before the vote?
I think you covered it, but just in general, just to kind of reemphasize that this franchise agreement and street lighting agreement with Youngsville is nothing more than a tool that we need to be able to serve the areas in the properties that are in the city of Youngsville that are part of a contract we already have with Slimco. In 2004, we entered into a contract with Slimco that allowed LUS to provide service outside the city of Lafayette into areas that we call the area of influence. And those were all rural areas at that time. Well, since that time, some of these areas have been annexed by other municipalities. So in order to continue to exercise the benefits of the contract we have with Slimco, we came back to this body and to the council to get a franchise agreement in both Broussard and now in Youngsville. Also in both areas, we have subdivisions that we serve, which require street lighting service. And so the purpose of the street lighting agreement is to allow LUS to provide that service, charge the cities of Youngsville and Broussard respectively for that, and provide those services as long as we continue serving those particular customers. So that's what the purpose is here. It's not to serve the entire city of Youngsville. It's illegal for us to do that. We could not do that on our own. It's to serve only those areas, and it's going to be very small in nature, comparatively speaking to the size of these communities, for us to serve new customers, new buildings, new facilities that take place within those communities, but are within that area of influence that we have with the Slimco agreement. So that's, I just wanted to, I guess, share that from the standpoint of what this really is. It's not a far-reaching issue. It's mainly something to accommodate the existing contract that we've had with Slimco since 2004.
And other than the wholesale water contract that we have with Youngsville and Broussard, all of the rates that we charge for water, for wastewater, and for electricity are at rates above which the citizens of Lafayette pay, correct?
That is correct. That's correct. And we have out-of-city rates for electric, water, and sewer for residential customers and commercial customers outside the city of Lafayette.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any questions from the LPUA? Hang on, Pat. Mr. Lewis?
Yes, Mr. Terry, I have a question. You're saying that this is a way that we would provide service to new customers, right? So who would provide them services if LUS would not?
Then one of the other utility companies could provide those services.
So,
But the benefit of LUS providing the services is that we get the revenues off of that. You know, so the idea that Slimco contract is something, it's been changed through the years as one has expired, another one has come in, but this has been going on for a good 30, 40 years. And it's been very beneficial to Lafayette. For example, at the time that the area on New Flanders Road was becoming developed, LUS was able to take on that territory and be able to provide electric service to those customers, and that's the area known as Ambassador Caffrey today. So the idea is to continue to provide growth opportunities for the city of Lafayette and for the utility system. And normally it would have been, as I said, anticipated it would be only in rural areas that would be annexing to the city, but because of the annexation of some of these territories by Youngsville and Broussard, that's why we sought getting a franchise agreement, so we have a legal authority to provide service to those areas only within that area of influence.
Any other questions from the LPUA? Thank you, Mr. Huval. Any other blue cards?
No, sir.
All right, call for the vote, please.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
District 8?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4? Motion to introduce is approved.
Thank you. Mr. Huval, would you like to address the LPUA?
I would. Simone? Providing you a little handout. Normally, I probably have done this by PowerPoint, but I had not given fair warning to the staff that I was going to do that. So I said, let me just go ahead and give it to you, a hard copy version. And this is what I try to plan to do every now and then, is to come to you with an update on LPUA and issues that that either have come to light or things that I think are significant for you to know. You are the governing authority of the Utilities Department, and I think providing you some high-level details could be very helpful. If you look on the second page, it has to do with some of the discussion we've had with MISO and how beneficial that has been to us. And occasionally there's been questions about the idea of us providing, getting more solar power into Lafayette. So I want to let you know that this is something that we have been looking at for some time. In 2017, our cost to buy power through MISO has been about 3.2 cents a kilowatt hour. So that gives you just perspective as to what we're paying for power now. If we decide to buy solar, that cost for just the solar component alone would be 5.5 cents a kilowatt hour last year and 4.4 cents a kilowatt hour this year. So you can see that the price of buying solar on the grid is dropping, but it's not as low as the price that we're buying through MISO, which is why, as we've discussed before, MISO is so important to us, is that it provides a means for us to get the cheapest power available that allows for the reliability of services that our customers require. And so while in 2017 solar is about 20% less than it was in 2016, it's still about 37% more than what we're paying with MISO. So the strategy we have going forward is to continue to look at using renewable resources as it gets into the money. But until it does, I'm not going to make unless there's some reason why I should do it otherwise, I'm not going to make a recommendation to the LPUA for us to buy solar power and increase rates to customers. I don't think that's where we stand at this particular point unless I get direction from you guys some other way. So it'd still be about 37% premium if we decide to go in that direction, so we're not taking that direction now. So that's one item I want to share with you. Second thing I do is street lighting. And just a reminder, taking a step back, street lighting, the purposes are for the safety of vehicles and pedestrians along the street, and also for the security of homes and businesses. We know very well that when a street light goes out that someone's going to call us and say, I need my street light back on as fast as I can because I'm scared or because there's a lot of traffic here or whatever the case might be. And the question in recent times on the next page of my little presentation has been that is about converting to LED lighting, and it's something we have been looking at or been propositioned to look at for the last 5 years or so as LEDs became on the market. The price for LEDs 5 years ago was far, far more expensive than it is today, and you can tell that just by going to your local home improvement store and looking what the prices are. It's dropped by around 80%. We have already put LED lights on our parking lot at LUS just to test them, and what we found is that we put them up there when it was probably still expensive, but it's a small parking lot, so it's a good place for us to look at them. And the efficiencies of those lights are not what they are today. The maintenance of them aren't what they are today. So obviously that the industry has grown to be a much more resilient one. We think that the costs and performance have dropped to where it might be feasible for us to have a broader deployment in Lafayette. And one of the things I'll be presenting to you formally in our budget is for us to actually replace all the street lights in Lafayette with LED lights. It's about a $7 million project, so it's not cheap. But if you look at what the payback is over time, it can make some sense. Now, remember, in the end, I say all of this, that I'm volunteering for LUS to do it, even though the streetlight system doesn't belong to LUS. It belongs to the city, and it's actually run by the City Public Works Department. City Public Works Department pays LUS for operating the lights and fixing the lights. We don't actually install the fixtures and so forth. I mean, or the poles, the Public Works does through its business. But we recognize that Public Works probably doesn't have the financial means to be able to replace these lights, and it would be a benefit to Public Works, because once you replace the lights with the LED lights, the cost of electricity will go down, which will reduce the amount of cost on the Public Works side. So the idea is for LUS to make the investment, recoup that investment over time by charging Public Works the same price we're charging them today, until which time we recoup that investment, then after that drop the price down to where Public Works is going to be actually paying a lower price for LED lights. You have much better lighting. And plus the tools that are becoming available today on how LED lights can work, you know, the ability to put them brighter, to dim them, to use them in a different kind of ways when you have emergencies take place. There's a number of factors that have come up to date and will be continue to come up that will make those lights even much more beneficial than the standard just dumb lights that we have sitting out there today, plus being able to monitor those better. So again, being that those are two issues that I know have kind of come up, I wanted to let you know that it has both have been looked at for quite some time. The issue always is that it's nice to wish about things, and all of us can do that. We've got to be pragmatic about it. We've got to be prudent what we do with the customer's money and what I approach you with. And we're getting to a point in both of these areas where we're seeing more and more likelihood of moving there. On the solar side, still a ways away. On the LED lighting side, in the city of Lafayette, I think we have a good proposal, and I'll share that more to you at the time we go to the budget, so you can understand how it fits in the big scheme of things. But that's all I wanted to share with you today. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to respond.
I do have one question. Would you share your findings and your plans for LED lighting, specifically with Parks and Recreation? I know there's a park in my area that uses the old-fashioned lights, and I'm sure they're very expensive to operate and maintain. I noticed the UL recreational field off of Coliseum Road is all LED. What a big difference. Karen Crow, the recreation area there is LED lighting. So if you would share that with Mr. Boudreau, I'd appreciate it.
We'll be happy to do so.
Any questions from LPUA? Okay, thank you, sir. Poor memory here. We took a vote on in Global. Yes, okay. This meeting is adjourned.